Francesco Durante, like many of those composers that we play, who's a really brilliant composer, but just doesn't really get played very much. We're playing the fourth of his 8 concertos for strings in our autumn series. In fact, I would probably say that of all his works, it's probably these 8 concertos that get out the most. Anyway, so we're playing concerto number 4. A little bit of background about Durante. He came from a place called Maggiore, which is on the outskirts of Naples. Presumably, back then it was a little village, but now, since then, it's just become part of the Neapolitan sort of urban sprawl. His dad, rather like Vivaldi's dad, had 2 professions. One was that of a sexton, and the other was that of a singer. And this presumably influenced Francesco Durante quite considerably, because if you look at the bulk of what he wrote, it's pretty much all sacred vocal music. As well as this huge collection of sacred vocal music, there's a small smattering of instrumental music, some sort of keyboard sonatas. There's a movement of a violin sonata that actually looks quite good. There's a lone concerto for strings, a harpsichord concerto, which is pretty unusual for Italy. Having said that, any harpsichord concerto of the period generally comes from south of Rome. And then there's this collection of 8 concertos, all scored for strings. They're all very, very fine pieces. There's sort of various influences that you can spot. There's one concerto, D minor, which is quite Vivaldian in many ways. If you were to sort of have a heat map of Italy at this time, where sort of concertos are written, it would be absolutely burning hot in the north of Italy, but pretty cold down the south. If you think about Vivaldi's 250 odd violin concertos, if you look for violin concertos in Naples, there's hardly anything apart. This is probably the one that I can think of. There's a Pergolesi piece, but I don't know it, so I can't comment. So these 8 concertos, all very good. There's the 8th is quite interesting, called La Pazia, which is as mad as it sounds. Mad in the fact that it has these sort of rather intentionally banal solos for 2 violas, which is quite funny. If you like that kind of thing. You've got that one, you've got the one with violin. So ours in E minor has no solos at all, but it's a very good piece, very, very contrapuntal, but with a very, very singing cantabile style in the slow movements. In terms of sources, there's no autograph score for these concertos, which is a bit of a shame, because it does appear that they were quite popular during Durante's lifetime, because the number of non-autograph sources that survive, there are quite a few of those. And what's quite interesting is that they all differ quite considerably in terms of sort of dynamics, phrasing, slurs, etc., etc. So it would be quite handy if somebody were to pop up with the autograph, because that could put us all out of our misery in terms of what we're actually supposed to be doing. The source that I've edited is the collection that survives in the Royal Conservatory in Brussels. You can argue till the cows come home about what slurs you should be doing, what articulation you should be doing, because this manuscript says that and that manuscript says that, but we're just going to stick pretty much to what the Brussels copy says, and to hell with it, as they say. Anyway, there you go, Francesco Durante.